DeviantArt, designed for artists, filled with deviants. In this series, I will be looking at the absolute darkest depths of DeviantArt, from the insane to the fetishistic, from Sonic to Mpreg, from feet to AI slop. Welcome, my friends, to the inaugural episode of Disturbing Things from DeviantArt. I think I regret conceptualizing this series. I have so many questions. The first thing I saw was the swastika. I guess this creator is either edgelord baiting or might like the 1940s German mustache man. Who knows? Could go either way at this point in the analysis. This is a Roblox character, I think. I am not familiar, nor do I want to, because I am old. But, like, there's a hand coming out. I should also note that particular hand is making an OK sign. Now, that might confirm my edgelord theory. See, there was this whole thing where 4chan conducted their own psyop to make people believe that it means white supremacy or something. And if you believe it does, you are absolutely fucking fucktarded, if you will. I won't have to bleep that one, but the first one I do. YouTube's so dumb. Also, apparently Google's doc says fucktarded is a legitimate word. No squigglies. Huh. Anyway, there's also the communist hammer and sickle on the shirt I just noticed while looking at the hand, so it's meant to confuse. Then there's some Pokemon. A few times Pokemon has come up on the channel, but I still don't know anything after 2nd gen because I'm not made out of fucking money. These prices, man. Holy shit. There appears to be a pile of crudely illustrated people lit on fire turning into ash from the Pokemon's flame, I think. Why are Pokemon burning people? Why is Roblox guy commanding the Pokemon to do so? What is his political allegiance? What the fuck is that hat? This was a request? Why is Roblox guy so sadistic? Also, I didn't realize, but this is an inflation drawing too, which... Jesus Christ, okay. Anyway, let's see if there's comments. Nice. Dear liberals, this image. Libtards, you better back the fuck off when kids are getting roasted. This isn't Fortnite, son. This is Roblox. I just nutted. Your nut is noted. Thanks. His tin hat speaks volumes about his fantasies of rectal interloping. Wrinkles on this is good. Wrinkle, wrinkle, little tinfoil hat, how I reflect the rays with these. Oh, okay, so it's a tinfoil hat. Why the fuck is it blue? Anyway, it seems like the creator is in on the joke and just wanted to troll people. Still a very cursed image. Hey, did you know I started a Patreon? You didn't? Why aren't you obsessively e-stalking me like every other micro-e-celeb on the planet? Sorry, referring to myself as e-celeb made me a bit nauseous there. Okay, anyway, patrons saw this video a day early. For $2 a month, you too can sponsor a starving African child. Except he's not African, nor a child. I don't know, I'm trying to do a gag on those charity commercials, but using Sarah McLachlan music will get the video copyright claimed. I'll come up with something better next time. For subscribing, you get your name in the video at some point, and it'll stay in all future videos, whether you stay subscribed or not, because I'm on a schedule here. You also get preview pages of my dark fantasy comic Doomsayer, as well as my gratitude. Should also note that if you sign up this January, you're going to get a 22-page preview of the next chapter of Doomsayer. Ooh. Anyway, let's return to this glorious nightmare. Nintendo was a mistake. Honestly, why is it always Nintendo characters that get the worst shit drawn of them? I am so glad I'm a PC gamer. Anyway, what we have here appears to be a fan art of that Mario game where he turns into an elephant. Honestly, couldn't really give a shit about Nintendo. You know, they make overpriced and underpowered hardware to sell baby games to adult-sized babies that guzzle soy and scroll Reddit all day. Oh, wait a minute. Holy shit. I think this might be Andrew Dobson's secret account. Nah, Dobson's a smidge better than this. Only just a smidge. I'll get to him someday, don't worry. These elephant Mario brothers seem to be flatulating. I mean, hey, everybody farts, part of life, but some people, like shitty localizer Jello Apocalypse, see farting in a different light. Is this a shit post or a shit smelling post? Who knows? All I know is that it's very cursed. Let's take a look at the comments. What the fuck? And looking at this person's gallery, we got a furry and a fart fetishist. So cliche for DeviantArt. I'll try digging a bit deeper for future episodes. Seriously, that's like surface level stuff. So, I was gonna cover some of that diaper stuff you see on the depths, but I think I'm already on several lists and I don't want to dig deeper. Not to mention, even if it's crudely drawn, just looking at it makes me nauseous, and it also gives me flashbacks to a particular comic I really wish I never read. That shit is gross and I'm not gonna touch it, okay? I will kink shame the fuck out of that, I don't care. Anyway, for future reference, send in your weirdest finds at deviantartsubmissions@gmail.com. But this is the only time I'm covering this diaper stuff, okay? I would also note, just send me weird stuff. The weirder the better. You know, let's try to stay away from the kink and fetish stuff, okay? I want to look at stuff more like the Roblox guy that just left me perplexed. Well, that's all for now. Sorry the video's a little bit shorter, but you know, holidays, had to squeeze this in. I will see you next week, but before you go, thank you for watching this video. Oh, and there's definitely going to be a volume 2 at some point, so fucking subscribe. I received this submission shortly before scripting this video. It appears that some users are creating weird Ronald McDonald / anime girl mashups. Not sure why. I tried to do a reverse image search as the submitter did not provide a link. Please, for future episodes, link to the DeviantArt page, and I found a whole fandom around anime Ronald McDonald. There also seems to be an effort to either put him in or rank him as the most powerful in Mugen, a video game I am somewhat familiar with, but have never played myself. In short, Mugen is a popular 2D fighting game that has been receiving community-created content since 1999, and it's still somewhat popular today, and I'm sure someone put Ron McDon over here in it at some point, you know, considering that game is known for having the most insane amount of characters in any fighting game ever, so I'm assuming that the fandom is the origin point. Again, no DeviantArt link was provided. Please do that next time you submit. These edits of Ronald McDonald are rather crude and could have been edited better. It feels like low-tier meme bait that never took off, although I find them a bit silly. Well, considering anime's popularity, there's always gonna inevitably be some kind of edit like this with various characters. Not much to go on with this entry, but we have quite a few more to go, just starting off a little light. DeviantArt, designed for artists, filled with deviants. In this series, we will be looking at the absolute darkest depths of DeviantArt, from the insane to the fetishistic, from Sonic to Mpreg, from feet to AI slop. Welcome, my friends, to episode 2 of Disturbing Things from DeviantArt. Before we get into this, I just want to let you know this video is sponsored by me. Check out the Patreon, read my comic. Thank you for your support, like, comment, subscribe. On with the show. This one is rather strange, more than anything. There were a series of edits of screenshots of popular children's cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants, and this DeviantArt user took it upon themselves to overlay imagery that may be offensive to Asian people. The big question here is why? And why are there so many edits? None of these have descriptions, but apparently they were created with AI tools. Could have fooled me. While I'm more on the side of human artists in that whole debate, I know AI can do better than this. Looking through this user's gallery, they seem to have a series of repeated images with slight variations, maybe to engage DeviantArt's algorithm as fast as possible, or maybe it's autism, who knows. Looking at this user's bio, they only provide their they-them pronouns and nothing else. They don't seem to get much engagement on their posts, so I suppose this one will remain a mystery. From an artistic critique standpoint, yeah, these edits are pretty weak. You could have at least tried to match the line weight to the original images. This isn't the only strange user that posted multiple repeated yet ever so slightly varied images on their account, however. Sam from Finland is a curious case that I think I've actually seen some of those real spooky YouTubers cover at some point. I'm obviously just doing a bit here if that wasn't apparent to you, dear viewers. Anyway, reading this user's bio, we don't have much to go on. This user is a student of traditional art, plays cricket, is religious, and worst of all, is a fan of the Black Eyed Peas. How? How could anyone bear to witness the auditory atrocity that is the Black Eyed Peas? Alright, I'm just joking. Listen to what you want. I don't care. Back to the matter at hand. This user seems to be obsessed with drawing the same or extremely similar portraits over and over. The majority of these are done in colored pencil, although there are a few in watercolor. There's something unsettling about these images, and I'm here to tell you it's the teeth. The details in teeth can give off a vibe that the majority of people will find creepy. If you've ever seen highly detailed 3D models and felt uncomfortable viewing them in that kind of uncanny valley kind of way, it's because of the high detail in the teeth. Why do detailed teeth elicit this reaction? Beats me. It just does. Alright, so there's a pro tip for any creature designers out there in the audience. It's similar to creating a gross texture, along those lines, something like that. I don't know why it works, it just does, you know? It just works. This user draws these faces over and over, and they all kind of look alike. These could be self-portraits, but they may be coming from his imagination, who knows? There doesn't seem to be much engagement on his post, so it's not like there's a community I can investigate. I'll admit, at the very least, these have a style. Not something I can say for all artists out there, so, you know, there's one for you. I think this guy just likes to draw faces, and that's about it. Nothing more, nothing less. There was one image that was actually a full body I found in his gallery, so it's not like he's hyper-fixated on just portraits. I guess he just likes to draw them. The page is a little weird, that's all. Harmless, honestly. Now we're going to move on to something that may be actually harmful. So, oh boy. So for this next one, we take a detour and look at something actually disturbing. The Black Butler fandom. So we have a fan comic here of the character Sebastian from the anime series Black Butler being force-fed. Now, I am not familiar with this anime. It doesn't really look like my kind of thing. The fandom seems to be a lot of fujoshis from a simple observational conclusion. I could be wrong, and I might be, but that's what it looks like from the outside looking in. And if you know anything about fujoshis that also happen to be artists, they draw things that will outgoon the world's first goonicide. Personally, I don't really care to be as judgmental as my prior statement would lead you to believe. Could care less. Goon till your doom, who cares? But it's an objective fact that goonettes goon way more than gooners. What are these words? What have you Zoomers done to the English language? And why am I using them? Alright, anyway, back to the script. However, when we dip into fetish territory, there are some kinks that are potentially dangerous to one's health. I already touched on poop and pee stuff last time and how it's extremely unsanitary and extremely unhealthy. I should clarify I may have been kink shaming, sure, but it was more of a concern for health reasons rather than passing judgment. Okay, maybe a little bit of judgment was passed. And the same thing goes for this one. What we're witnessing is a weight gain fetishist, also referred to as feederism, adjacent to inflation, which I covered last time. These people simply have a fat fetish and want to make their partners even fatter. And that's extremely dangerous to your health for obvious reasons. So I do not condone this. Not kink shaming here, simply concern for your health. Go be a chubby chaser if that's what you like, whatever, man. Anyway, I suppose I should give this comic a read. I'm not familiar with the franchise, so bear with me. Oh, you look so good like this, Sebastian. You have to keep filling that lovely belly. We'll make sure you do. Not so much fun when it's happening to you, is it, Sebastian? Yeah, so, I don't know. He looks pregnant. Honestly, the art is pretty well executed. The colors are saturated, the characters are recognizable, the spread of sweets actually looks pretty appetizing. It's not bad from an artistic standpoint. Let's read some comments. Jack Slina says, "Rip Sebastian, type fetish artist with really good art. He pray for himself." Devil May Cry Girl 17 says, "I am so loving this picture. It looks really good, and I love how Sebastian's clothes are rolled up already. I wonder, though, if his belly should be a little higher up or demons are just easier to stuff. Either way, I love this. Keep up the good work, my friend, heart." Okay, I guess Sebastian's a demon. Blood and Guts says, "Hoo boy." Indeed, Blood and Guts. That's what I said when this came into my inbox. Anyway, looking through this user's gallery, a lot of these images are under the mature filter, so I can't really show you on YouTube, but it's pretty much just fat fetish art. So if you like it, hey, check them out. It's pretty competently made stuff, to be honest. I think this one's pretty good. I like the tattoo, or I guess in context body paint design, you know? Artistically speaking, it's pretty well done. Just again, feederism in particular is a rather dangerous fetish. I came across a video of a woman who was severely obese talking about it one time, so that's where I know it from. It can potentially be life-threatening, as is any case of morbid obesity. Having an enabler is never a good thing with any kind of addiction, including food addiction. But hey, if you like fat bitches, go wild, dude. let's move on. So someone sent this one in for the description alone, but before that I decided to just go ahead and have a look at their actual page. Seems to be an average brony type with some OC stuff mixed in. Should note that some of these deviations are extremely violent. Oh well, whatever. What we're really here for is the description of this one, which I shall read for you now. Quote, 6/3/25, Jack redacted Charles White, final malpractice courtroom statement presented by attorney Frederick Nicholas. Quote, as we all know, Charles White, widely known as beloved as Penguin Zero, Moist Critical, and the like, has a worldwide positive reputation in the eyes of the world's youth. His videos, live streams, and appearances in the Hunger Game franchise have brought smiles to many. It truly is devastating to see him stoop to such lows. On behalf of my client, Jack Redacted, we would like to see action taken against the heartless criminal. He was seen on December 21st of 2024 at the local Cadillac Hospital in Redacted, the city of Jack's abode, of which he currently resides, healing from such traumas of which are about to be mentioned. Jack had shown up to said hospital at an appointment that was about to change his life. He had set up an appointment to get bottom surgery. Do keep in mind the important factor that my client, Jack Redacted, is a professionally diagnosed trans male. Mere months after he turned 18, he had gone in to get top surgery, in which his breast tissue was hacked away without issue. However, the next appointment is where things went awry. He had changed his healthcare plan in recent months and swapped doctors. Enter Charles White. Charles White, upon what the fuck is this? Charles White, upon recent investigation, was not a licensed doctor in any facet. According to his own admission, he had simply waltzed into the clinic and was immediately offered a job for being quite the handsome lad. The validity of the statement is under debate by officials. Mr. Redacted showed up to the operation room and the surgery began. Frederick walks on the front and enters a tape into the projector. Client Jack begins to cover his eyes. As you can see this portion clear as day, Charles disregards the safety of Jack and opts for the sock room. He was then reluctantly guided to the proper room by an assistant nurse when recklessly abandons the procedures before it even begins, leaving Charles to mangle this poor lad with no supervision whatsoever. Immediately, mere moments after Jack is sedated, Charles begins to take what he calls artistic liberties. He was prompted to hold open Jack's labia with a speculum, but instead reaches for the scalpel. He begins viciously hacking away at Mr. Redacted's labia until there's nothing but a bloody, pulpy, strewn apart mess. Client Jack began sobbing. Their actions unfurl on screen as Jack's husband, Jay Redacted, comforts him. Soon after, Jay begins to vomit. How fucking long is this? Okay. Charles then finally grabs the speculum out of childish boredom and jabs the remains of Jack's vagina with the tool. On screen, you can see him sickeningly laughing to himself and vlogging it. This recording was taken from Charles' YouTube channel. Oh, bullshit! No. Suspension of disbelief, no longer suspended, okay? I've seen Moist Critical's videos. He never leaves his rooms. He never leaves his room. Anyway, that's the rest of it says. The video was taken down almost instantly, but we obtained the dreaded footage after a deep FBI investigation was deduced. Charles then grabs the knife a second time and creates an incision that remains of Mr. Redacted's clitoris. He grabs the syringe and fills with human urine. It is unknown whose urine it is and how it got into the hands of Mr. White, but staff at the hospital suspect he had brought it in himself that fateful evening and nobody batted an eye. It is most likely Charles' own urine. He then announces, with lack of any empathy or rationality, "There you go, Jack, a little more piss for your labia, in case you just couldn't get enough." After this twisted game finally comes to an end, he immediately starts another. Charles obtains a keratome from the operating table and begins poking Jack's vagina once more, causing more irreparable rips in the tissue to form, and whatever blood left is there to weakly spew from Jack's labial folds. He then uses the keratome and forceps to tear open the dismantled mess further and begins ripping out the uterus with brute force. He then continues to inject urine into each and every crevice. Then he obtains the irrigation probe. He uses his tool to suck out of the innards of Mr. Redacted's cavity, cleaning up any evidence of the ruthless tampering and tinkering he has done. He sickeningly remarks, "Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 3. Man, oh man, this is fun 4. There's some residue, it looks like. You don't want any traces that this labia was ever here to begin with." Jack's cavity has been thoroughly empty. He pulls a fleshlight out of his side lab coat pocket, which he had supposedly had on him the entire time. He maneuvers it inside the depths of Jack and removes the forceps. He begins to stitch up the openings he had created. He states, "I'll tell you what else is swell. This surgery so far, absolutely flawless." Soon after, the video comes to an end. One can only imagine the sheer terror struck into Mr. Redacted's soul as he awoke to find out what Charles had done to mutilate him. Frederick walks over and shuts off the projector. Klein Jack has tears streaming down his face. Both the Klein and his husband are shaking violently. So, all that being brought to light, it is my duty today to ensure that justice is served. The only way we can get even a smidge, a mere morsel of justice for Jack and his family is this. Mr. White will be fined 10 grand and the money will be given straight to Mr. Redacted. That is at least 5 times what the surgery cost Jack. Furthermore, Charles White will be sentenced to 40 years in prison with no chance of parole. He truly is a sickening monster that ruined my Klein's life forever. Jack will never recover from Charles' evil doing. My heart goes out to every single person affected by the catastrophe. Thank you. Frederick sits down and Mr. White's attorney begins his final statement. Well, that was certainly rather disturbing fan fiction. Apparently this is a copy pasta, but I'm not sure the origins. Homemade, I don't know what that means. But apparently, Moist Critical got in trouble for illegally performing gender reassignment surgery. And the top comment here from Fishy Geek here says, "Fucking hell, mate. That was as bad as the newborn incest fanfic some freak decided to post on AO3. Think on what you're doing, man. The fuck? Fucking wanker." Jesus Christ. Wow. Wait, was it? You're the embodiment of why I'm Christian. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That was certainly the description. The artwork that's accompanied, actually not that bad. Okay. Oh, I can see the beard now, right? Isn't his beard a little bit thicker? I don't know. I haven't watched his videos in a long time because they're all repetitive. It's just him reading like tweets and being like, "Haha, look at this poopy head. Thanos snap. I mean, I've noticed his videos got a little bit shorter lately, but you know, whatever. Yeah, the art itself, yeah, it's pretty fine, cartoony, you know. Yeah. Well, that was certainly a trip. Let's move on. Okay, so this account is so strange and the edits are so weird, I'm somewhat at a loss for words. I don't even know what's going on here. This user creates edits of various images of women, seemingly mostly pregnant women, with some inflation fetish undertones, or perhaps that feederism stuff I just covered. Every single one of these images is under the mature filter, despite some of them just being text over images of pregnant women. It seems that this person has a rather large following, actually. Why do you guys send me this shit? Let's check out their bio, since this seems to be the only user in this list that actually has one. My bio. A bloated belly is a hug from the inside out. Quote, text the belly. There's a Discord link, which I'll blur. Do that, Editor John, okay? You're probably wondering why I love a diverse range of belly inflation. Well, it's because of the pressure, the tightness, and the buildup that drives me wild. That's why I love Omarashi bladder bulge, Avi position egg, water, air, gas, stuffing, slime, scat constipation, and other stuff. I don't even know what, all of that is. Anyway, all of them build up the pressure to tighten and round out a belly and even pop buttons too. I have a soft paw for furries too. Ooh woo, I'm also bi, so I like bellies from both sexes and mainly all species. HMU for request. And then there's some stuff about request. Alright, listen, I don't mean to hate on inflation fetishes or chubby chasers, and I really didn't want to cover that stuff more than once, which I already did last time, but these edits are so particularly strange, I had to at least show you guys. And again, whatever you like, go for it, you know? Just be mindful of your health, you know? Also, this poll over here, listen, if you happen to be just listening to my video rather than watching them, it's fine, it's cool, I don't care. If you want to listen to my videos, that's cool, I appreciate it. I'm glad to keep you company. Let me just read this poll for you over here. What story would you like me to expand? The NSFW mystery inflation ends with an orgasm. A orgasm. The gassy businesswoman. The overstuffed girlfriend. the constipated, bladder-filled wife, the waterlogged girl. You know, I think doing this series was a big fucking mistake. For God's sake, subscribe. Do it. Do it now. Okay? We got one more in today's installment, so keep watching, but wow, okay, this is a very strange account, okay? It's just strange. It's just kind of weird. Again, no hate to people that have, like, weird, obscure kinks or anything, you know what I mean? But, like, this one's weird, man. Like, come on. Alright, let's wrap this up with one thing that I just have to cover at least once in this series. And I think some viewers may already know, like, oh, well, he's already covered inflation. He's got to cover that other obscure fetish that the internet brought to light. And of course, we're talking about vor. Okay, so we got an NSFW image I will have to censor, Editor John, okay? Keep that in mind when you're editing this. Of a woman who has consumed various people pressing her rear end into a plumber's face. Okay, this is vor. For those too young to have come across this obscure fetish that wasn't as relatively well known as it is now thanks to the internet, first of all, you're probably too young to be here. Fuck off and go play Roblox, or whatever. Secondly, for those who don't know and are old enough, this is when a person gets off on the idea of being eating or eating others, depending, usually being the one eaten. So, yeah, that's that. Once again, we have a piece of fetish art that is rather competently made. It's got good perspective, proper use of shadows and highlights, and aside from the impossibility of consuming multiple people whole, the anatomy makes sense. There isn't that much on this person's bio, but looking through their gallery, there is some non-vor art, like this nice Christmas tree. This user is actually quite popular on DeviantArt and has amassed nearly 10 million page views, so hey, good on him. Well, turning the safe mode filter off and looking at their more recent work, I actually can't show you any of it because YouTube. But they improved significantly from the image I showed you at the start. It's actually really well done. Censoring these images would be impossible without blacking out the whole screen though, so yeah. But credit where it's due, the guy is good at what he does. If you're into vor and you never heard of this guy, send him some love, I guess. Me, personally, I don't really like this kind of thing, but I must admit, it's masterfully done. So yeah, that's that. I had to cover it at least once. That's going to be a wrap on this volume. For future reference, I'm trying to look for weird stuff, not necessarily fetish art. I did feel obligated to cover inflation, feederism / chubby chasers, and vor at least once, since DeviantArt is notorious for that stuff, but if I get further submissions on those topics, I will just veto them from the video. So if you have any finds, make sure they're really weird. I want weird stuff, not kinky stuff, okay? Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it if you watch it all the way to the end. Send me some more submissions via the email on screen. Thank you to patrons. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my comic Doomsayer. Watch another video. YouTube should be showing you some recommendations for my channel now. Take care, and I will see you next time. Starting off tonight's episode with a bit of a strange one. Well, not so strange if you have this particular erotic proclivity, although I'm under the impression it is quite rare. Water. It gives life just as quickly as it takes it away. Despite our bodies being 80% water, becoming 100% water may result in death. Now, what if I told you there's a DeviantArt user who finds this kinda hot? You'd probably reply, well yeah, no shit, it's DeviantArt, which, fair. So this user seems to be drawing various characters, some original, some fan works, drowning. And I have it on good authority that the user gets off on it since it's literally written in the tags. Also seems to have a gooner cross-section with feet and femboys. Looking at this user's about section, there's not much to go on. Just seems to be an Italian Nintendo fan. Now, I could make a joke about Nintendo fans being into femboys, but we're way too early in the video, and honestly, my intent with this series is actually more so to highlight more bizarre and fringe artwork created by outsider artists than to be like, hey look, this is weird. Should go without saying, but as always, do not harass or interact anyone covered in any of my videos. My videos are for entertainment and documentation purposes only. So, are these pieces good? I think there could be some anatomy and lighting studies that could help this user, but they're not bad. We all gotta start somewhere, and sometimes that's by drawing weird kinks such as drowning. Draw what you like. I don't care. It also seems like there's a small community that's into this by the comments. Let's check the comments section out. Drowning near the surface is like a bitter tragedy of almost making it to the surface. Not really bittersweet, just bitter since you didn't make it. However, the person can have a small glimmer of hope that can be saved by someone. I think you prefer a more realistic ending. Yup. Okay, well. Maybe they get off on the idea of being saved by somebody when they're like almost out of air. Perhaps that's where this whole kink comes from. I'm not sure. I'm not an analyst on that kind of thing. Well then, that was certainly an interesting investigation. I always say do whatever you like as consenting adults, but do be cautious if you're into dangerous stuff like this. Some might even call this a disturbing thing from DeviantArt. DeviantArt. Designed for artists filled with deviants. In this series, I will be looking at the absolute darkest depths of DeviantArt, from the insane to the fetishistic, from Sonic to Mpreg, from feet to AI slop. Welcome, my friends, to episode 3 of Disturbing Things from DeviantArt. Now, when I set out to do this series, I wanted submissions from viewers like you. Some of them have no explanation, but are just bizarre artworks viewers stumbled upon. This particular submission did have some context, luckily. Quote, "You said you wanted more weird submissions and less fetish submissions. I don't know if this is a fetish thing, but I'm inclined to say not really, or it's only tangentially fetishistic. This girl has been self-shipping with Buff Demon SpongeBob for years, and her art goes hard as fuck for no reason. Love the vids, and glad to see someone that covers these kinds of topics without going, ew, that's weird and gross. Have a good day, bro." Thank you. Appreciate that. Clicking through to the user's gallery, I can say these images do, in fact, go hard as fuck for no reason. The first thing I should note about this user is the first image currently in her gallery. The artwork is, admittedly, absolutely incredible. Phenomenal work. There is a fanfiction attached to it. A fanfiction I do not have enough time to read. I can't emphasize how long this is. This may perhaps make the notorious Loud House fanfiction's author blush. But hey, the comments seem to enjoy it, so good on them. As a matter of fact, it seems this is actually an ongoing series coupled with these expertly crafted illustrations of her OC with Buff Demon SpongeBob, and yes, it's long. Consulting the About section, this user refers to herself as a, quote, traditional goth who also likes to watch SpongeBob. It also says she likes Sleep Token, so the question stands, traditional goth or modernized bastardization that can be better defined as an e-girl? I'm just joking, like whatever music you want. Just not Sleep Token. That band sucks. Also, by the favorites section of her profile, seems to be a Sonic fan because, of course, there's really not too much to go on in this entry, just a big fan of Buff Demon SpongeBob that's really good at drawing and has a quite long and ongoing fanfiction with an OC, most likely a self-insert. There's also this image right here that is 1,000,000% going to be the thumbnail for this video. Honestly, I just wanted to highlight it because the work is great. And hey, she's got a bit of a fan base as well, so good for her. Next entry. So, we got a 2-for-1 in this next entry. Due to the similar style of content and a DeviantArt staple I haven't covered yet. Edits. Particular edits of the user putting themselves in images with their favorite characters from fictional worlds. This may be some kind of self-insert wish fulfillment kind of thing. The most famous edit artist is probably Justin RPG. Everyone was talking shit about him wanting to bone the Flame Atronac from Oblivion, but all of a sudden the remaster comes out and they're like, Gooners are us. He was ahead of his time. As for these accounts, they both seem to have a similar style of various types of edits. Some of themselves in these pictures, some of them are mashing up various characters, and some of other people, which is the oddest one in my opinion, but hey, this looks mostly harmless. A bit of investigation and these accounts look like there's some overlap, and each one seems to have a long-standing lore. There are a lot of these accounts across DeviantArt that have a history, usually too long for me to look into. These edits are quick to pull off, so there's tons of content to go through. That boy seems to have a pretty run-of-the-mill bio, but Jakey has an interesting one, so let me read that for you. Quote, "Hello there, my name is Jakey Jacob Jaskron Hill Frollo Gothel. Welcome to the gallery. You are now in my world, not your world. For in my world, heroes are zeros. This is quite a place full of wholesome, happy faces, hanging out, feeling fine, where everyone's a friend of mine. Get the reference, XD? No, I didn't get that reference. In my world, I am the son of Frollo and Mother Gothel, the leader, the founder, and CEO of the Hill Family Office, HFO, banker, moneylender, binding contractor, a multiverse millionaire that owns casinos, nightclubs, bars, and more. In business mostly with villains and anti-heroes. Also have an adventure series called the Villainous Rogues Gallery, where the members of the gallery, such as myself, Molly Miller, ROGR, Dimitri, and more, traveling in different worlds and multiverses. Welcome again, and I hope you'll enjoy my contents. Yeah, I'm at a loss. I'm not sure what all these words mean. Hopping back over to Batboy's page, there's a particular description on this particular image I feel particularly obligated to particularly share with you. Particularly. Let me read you this. Quote, "Do it for Bronco Betsy. Believe me, I deeply love Bronco Betsy as my favorite character from Nickelodeon's Back at the Barnyard. Many reasons why I madly love Bronco Betsy, because of beautiful western cowgirl looks with her lovely outfit with the colors of blue/yellow, and not mention her big hips always sway and bounces as she walks. Also that I like the voice actress Greta Lizzie, who did wonderfully voicing a Bronco Betsy, and I would totally do anything for Bronco Betsy, even make fun images featuring her in my OC cowboy variant. Back at the Barnyard, copyright Nickelodeon." Yeah, I don't know. It's a little funny, I guess. These dudes just like making these edits, and there's a small community around them that enjoy it. No shade, honestly. If it's what they like to do, more power to them, you know? From the outside looking in, one might find it a bit odd, but I see no harm. Wishing them the best. Dudes rock. Moving on. Well, unfortunately, we're going to be ending this video on a bit of a somber note, but I think it's important to document and remember works by all the world's artists, all of them, even the ones some might consider of poor quality. So, Crystal's 1986 was an artist on DeviantArt that no longer posts, but used to make these images of characters with disproportionately long hands. Now, one might think at first glance this is some kind of fetish thing, but actually it's not. Crystals frequently featured a Homestuck OC in his artwork that suffered from a condition called Marfan syndrome. Homestuck, once again, coming up on the John channel. I'll look at it someday, okay? But I did recently find out it has a higher word count than the Bible, so not today. These pieces kind of give me like salad fingers vibes, and not just from the long fingers, like just kind of in the style. I just think they're neat. Anyway, back to Crystals. He had a good friend named Roger that suffered from the aforementioned Marfan syndrome. He would post his artwork to raise awareness for the condition. Unfortunately, we're going back to the early 2010s, so people were a lot meaner online back then. I mean, they still are, but to a lesser extent, usually. Yeah, so basically the short version is that some people found his art disturbing. Oh, hey, like the title of this video, huh? It's meant to be tongue-in-cheek. Don't take it too seriously. I don't find any of this stuff I covered disturbing, to be honest, okay? But the people that actually found it disturbing basically bullied him off the internet. Unfortunately, years later, he would update his audience about his friend Roger's passing and no longer post art online. That's the abridged version. If you want a more in-depth look at this story, I highly recommend this video by Squishy Squid. It's really well done and way better research than any of my terrible videos, so sorry to bum you out at the end here, but rest in peace, Roger. This concludes episode 3 of Disturbing Things from DeviantArt. As stated prior, do not harass or engage with any individuals I covered in this video or any time on my channel. These videos are strictly for entertainment and documentation purposes. Not to mention, despite the tongue-in-cheek nature of formatting it like one of those true crime videos, my intent is actually to showcase works by outsider artists that may have slipped into obscurity. Despite some of these being crudely executed, off-putting to the average normie, or just plain fetishistic, they still have a place in art history, and I'd like to honor that. As I say at the end of all of these videos, I want your finds. Send your weirdest DeviantArt discoveries to deviantartsubmissions@gmail.com so we can keep this series going. But before you do, let me just say, thank you for watching this video. So, I actually came across this one scrolling Twitter. Who knew being a part of the biggest cesspit in human history could provide quality content for once? Depicts a still frame from animated sitcom Family Guy. This particular episode has Peter Griffin accidentally reveal he hates his children. It is followed by a meme from Despicable Me of Grok 2.0 or whatever his name is. I don't know, I haven't seen that movie. Reacting and crushing the glass he's holding. It seems the creator of this image is no fan of Peter. Looking through some more of this user's content, it appears that this is their style. Still frame from TV show or movie, reaction image from something else, particularly profound hatred for fictional character Peter Griffin. I mean, granted, Peter Griffin is supposed to be an asshole, and that's part of the comedy of Family Guy. Clicking through on suggested deviations, which I don't recommend, all roads lead to inflation, this seems to be an entire genre. A lot of hate for the cast of Family Guy, a show about assholes. You're supposed to hate them, you know? This format seems to be popular as there are many creators that do this. Other properties are also mentioned here. It's a bit strange. Why would someone use their time to create these edits? A little investigation never hurts. Looking at the first artwork's creator's bio, they're autistic. Oh, okay, that explains it. A look at a few of his other artworks, they may appear quite strange, but there's a unique style to it, you know? These sort of mashups would be called something along the lines of a digital photo montage, an art style often mislabeled as collage. Some may call it a bit crude or unusual, but there clearly is a lot of heart put into these. They clearly passionate about what they do. Reading this person's bio and looking through their art, they seem like a kind soul, wishing him the best. DeviantArt, designed for artists, filled with deviants. In this series, I will be looking at the absolute darkest depths of DeviantArt, from the insane to the fetishistic, from Sonic to Mpreg, from feet to AI slop. Welcome, my friends, to episode 4 of Disturbing Things from DeviantArt. This one is kind of peculiar. This user seems to work in a variety of mediums, 2D, mashups, logos. Can't quite pinpoint their favorite. They seem to be a pretty big Spider-Man and Power Rangers fan. The thing that stands out the most on this user's profile is their affinity for these weird scenario posts, I guess you could call them. There's also another user that I found that does this style of image editing. This one is a bit more explicit, but the first guy seems to lean toward violence, so I don't know, pick your poison. There also seems to be more edits in the vein of the Peter Griffin hate entry that we just covered. I can't quite explain these, it's something you'll just have to process yourself. Looking through each of these users' profiles, there isn't much I can gather. It's hard to understand from the outside looking in, but it appears that there is a community around these kinds of image edits. I'm not sure what's going on in their comment sections, but it's like coming across a group of people speaking a foreign language you have never heard before, or seeing animals communicate non-verbally or with their own series of grunts and groans. It's not off-putting in my opinion, it's just odd. I really just can't make heads or tails of this, and hey, that's okay, that just means it's not for me. These guys seem fine. If they want to keep doing these edits, more power to them. If you find entertainment value in their outsider art, send them some love. Are you enjoying the video so far? You should be. Enjoy harder. Do it. Do it now. Did you know only like 80% of you are subscribed? Which, honestly, higher than I thought it'd be. Hit the button and let's see if we can get that number down to 50%. Oh, and by the way, do you like comics? Fantasy? Dark fantasy? Absurdly proportioned women and political melodrama coated in a thick layer of artistic ambition and subversive dark comedy? Then you should read my comic Doomsayer. Chapter 18 just dropped at the time this video is out. Mature audiences only. Read for free on my site. Patrons get single pages as they're finished instead of waiting for chapter releases. Now, here's the patrons on the screen. Check them out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Back to the video. Speaking of absurdly proportioned women, it is now time for a reading from the great philosopher Gabo the Bull, 203. The Bulls on the Farm, Honey and Betsy. What is the new series, The Bulls on the Farm, about? Out in the countryside is where a farm that goes by the name The Greens and Eggs Farm, where farmer woman Betsy is growing her fresh vegetables and raising a flock of hens laying eggs. But working in a farm that involves growing vegetables and getting eggs from hens isn't easy. When it comes to wild critters like wolves, foxes, coyotes, squirrels, bears, and so much more has been sneaking into the farm and stealing Betsy's vegetables, fruits, eggs, and even her own food and the hens. But everything changes when Betsy adopts a bull and finds out that the bull scared off every wild critter that attempted to steal any food from the farm, leading Betsy to buy and rescue more bulls and raise them in her farm as they help her protect the vegetables, eggs, and the hens, and everything from the wild critters. While Honey, a female teenage calf, struggles to help out her own herd of male bulls to stop any critters that try to steal anything on the farm. Sounds absolutely riveting. Well, that was kind of weird. But, hey, you know what? The guy's just having fun. Let's read the comments. Cowgirl's got cake. So thick and gorgeous. Sorry, I was the one stealing the eggs. I will do it again. That's a nice, hot, cheeky cowgirl. I'm sorry, that was a gross sound.
Oh my gosh, I am super excited to see Honey the cute calf and the lovely thick cowgirl Betsy. I now consider these two as my favorite OCs of yours. I am looking forward to make some images with these two.
Hot, sexy, and thick Betsy and cute Honey. 3 things. 1. Betsy is extra thick. Emoji with hard eyes, emoji with hard eyes, emoji with hard eyes, emoji with hard eyes. 2. Honey looks so adorable. And 3. Awesome info on Betsy and her farm. Well, people seem to like it, so good for them. You know, poking around on this user's profile, the majority of their gallery is women with absurdly proportioned hips and massive asses. My man. Alright, moving on. This one is a bit peculiar. Well, they're all peculiar, but this one in particular. I received an email about this trend of characters with hypnotic swirl eyes. There is a chance that this could be fetishistic in nature, as there is a chance with all things DeviantArt. Most of these appear to be edits of still frames from movies, cartoons, and anime with the eyes edited to have a hypnotist swirl in them. Pretty much all of these pieces from multiple users is tagged with the phrase mind control. Clicking through and seeing the suggested tags thereafter all but confirms it. I'd recommend glancing at your screen if you're using my content for background noise. What, you want me to read it to you? Come on, man, you can read, right? Also, reading some of these might trip the demonetization system, and your boy's trying to get this bread. Or whatever you damn kids say these days. I'm sorry, that sounded so cringe. And that's me reading the script in my head as I write it. I'm gonna recoil when I actually record the line. Which I did, by the way, right now. Ew. I'm sorry. Anyway, back on script. As for the fetishistic nature of being hypnotized, well, it's called erotic hypnosis, and it's pretty much what you think it is. No need to elaborate. I do wish these users would create some original works, though. We've had a lot of edits in tonight's episode. It feels a bit lazy, but then again, the style of artwork stems from the Dadaist movement, which I would be covering, as well as pretty much every single art movement in the forthcoming art movements iceberg. Yeah, that's the next one. That'll be a fun one, so make sure you subscribe for that. Until then, sorry this one was a bit short, but I do want to do a bit of that art fight this year and be a little less half-assed than last year. So, a video for that should be coming up next, soon, within the next week or two. So, keep your eyes peeled for that. If you have anything you want to submit to me for future installments of Disturbing Things from DeviantArt, DeviantArtSubmissions@gmail.com. You want to send me anything else there? You know, fan art, hate mail, I don't know, anything. You just, content suggestions, you know, stuff like that. Just shoot it to that email. Anyway, like the video if you have a hypnosis kink, I guess. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Important. This profile is 18 plus only. Nothing here is explicitly NSFW, but pie edits I do because I find it hot, to be blunt. Mainly Danganronpa pie edits here, mainly with Kokichi, often him alongside Shuichi or Rantaro, occasionally Nagito or Hajime. I'm kind of particular about character sexuality, Nagito, Kokichi, Akechi being gay being the main ones, Shuichi and Hajime being bi, Rantaro being pan. So if you don't agree with those first 3 in particular, I'd rather you stay away and do not watch your favorite anything. Otherwise, do whatever. If you have any ideas or suggestions for scenarios or characters, you can ask me. I would only really be interested in editing men because of how much female WAM art there is around. NB characters would also be fine depending on who they are. Also, I will not use or edit characters who are under 18. If a character who is in one work is under 18 and appears in another 18 or over, that's fair game so long as I use that design, but I will not do age ups. Yeah. So this one kind of speaks for itself. I literally have nothing to add. Just whatever you're into, be safe, consensual, and sanitary about it, okay? This is not what I thought about when I heard the phrase cream pie. DeviantArt. Designed for artists, filled with deviants. In this series, I will be looking at the absolute darkest depths of DeviantArt, from the insane to the fetishistic, from Sonic to Mpreg, from feet to AI slop. Welcome, my friends, to the final episode of Disturbing Things from DeviantArt. Alright, this one has no bio info, but it's honestly pretty self-explanatory. It's honestly the sheer amount that I've seen on their page that makes me go, damn, that's a lot of tied-up buff dudes. So at the time of recording, we're at a whopping 636 uploads on this page. There are older ones that are just edits of buff boys, it looks like, mostly jacked anime dudes all roped up with mouth tape, but there's been a series of AI-generated images of RoboCop, or just generic police dude, I guess, grabbing dudes from a portal and, I guess, escorting them to wherever they're being held. Kind of weird looking, as are pretty much all AI-generated images, you know, that, like, really over-sharpen look. Actually, most of these seem to be AI images, which is probably why we're at a whopping 636 uploads. So, there's not much to it. The guy running the account likes buff boys and has a bondage fetish. Simple as. You know, it's pretty surface level kink, dude. It's like the people that are into like that whole sub-dom dynamic. It's like pretty common stuff. Nothing too disturbing about that at all. Like some, if not a lot of people like that stuff. There is one particularly strange thing about this account that I've noticed, and it's these two galleries side by side. Very specific fetishes and religious images. What? Alright, let's take a look. Okay, so apparently people have a fetish for buff dudes carrying fridges on their back in the rain. I have no words. Let's see what's in religious images. Okay, it's Buddhism. Kind of strange that a 99% fetishistic page would generate images of a religious philosophy that tries to enlighten practitioners into absolving earthly desires, but whatever. The page is a bit odd, but, you know, it's like whatever. I'm running low on material, so this is going to have to do for the final episode here. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel for some more weirdo art content. There's also a Patreon for the low price of $1 a month, and I make a comic called Doomsayer if you're a fan of dark fantasy and absurdly proportioned women. I got a lot of ideas for future content coming down the line next year, so remember to smash all the buttons and hype the video or whatever the hell YouTube is doing these days. Anyway, on to the final entries. So before I get to the final entry for the series, I thought I'd give a Discord member's suggestion a shot. By the way, check out the Discord, lots of supportive artists there. Link in the description. Anyway, they said that I should type in something niche that I like and see what comes up. Like something that only I know about or might even make a video about because no one else is talking about it. And that is obscure 1990s anime Eat Man. It popped up on Crunchyroll search years ago, and it always kind of stuck in the back of my mind. It's not a very good show in my opinion. Honestly, I think it's kind of bad, but like the vibes, man. The aesthetic. The soundtrack that unnecessarily goes super hard. I'll do a video on it someday. By the way, if you know Akihito Yoshitomi, that manga artist that does like the sketch ASMR videos, that's his manga. Anyway, so I punched it into the search bar, and sure, there's a few fan art pieces and still frames, but I came across a page that specializes in obviously AI-generated images. Some just look photoshopped, but they're of dudes with their willies out getting eaten by big animals, specifically hippos for the most part. Why hippos? Probably because they're hip.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, I got nothing, bro. Looking at their bio, all I got are they/them pronouns. It's kind of strange. Maybe this person has a vor fetish with some furry crossover or something. I don't know. It may be considered disturbing, which nothing in this series is actually disturbing. That's a joke, you dum-dums. Seriously, you would not believe how many comments of people not getting the joke I've come across while making this series. And it's also part of why I'm ending it. Anyway, we got one more page to cover, and this guy, let me tell you, he's a real asshole. So, I came across this profile a while back, and I just gotta say, dude can't draw for shit. He's got no charisma. He's a goddamn loser. Look at this dude. All he does is draw absurdly proportioned women and lame-ass monsters. I can't really show you much of this stuff because some of it is what he'd call figure drawing or anatomy studies. Yeah, okay, you gooner. Anyway, here's the profile description. Quote, some asshole that likes to draw monsters and thick women and make shitty YouTube videos and comics. Don't follow, don't subscribe, it's all trash. Well, at least there's some self-awareness. What a terrible page. It's disturbing how bad this shit is. Dude should just give up. And damn, going through his favorites, wow, it's almost like 80% waifu drawings. Fucking degenerate. By far the worst thing I've ever come across on DeviantArt. Do you guys get it? The joke is that it's my page. I'm the punchline.
That's the joke.
Alright, whatever. That's a wrap. Let's end this. Well, that concludes the Disturbing Things from DeviantArt series. It's been quite a journey through the depths of that place, but I'm not really sure how to take the series any further. I feel like I just end up repeating myself or triggering some other community, like when I pissed off the inflation fetishists for simply saying, those who aren't into this might find it a bit odd. That's literally all I said. Or when I made the nudist community angry when I simply said eating breakfast in the nude and having hot coffee near your genitals might be dangerous. It might. Seriously, that happened. And to be honest, there are other channels that cover weird DeviantArt stuff better, with better research, better production. Go watch like Frankie Faye, Dylan the Night Owl with his 10-hour-long videos, Aziz, or like Dolly Zombie, who are all great, by the way. Go watch them regardless. Anyway, extra special thank you to Patreon supporters, the realest motherfuckers on the planet. You the real MVPs, alright? You're my boy Blue. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.